Hey, how we doing there, gang? Kawaii50 here with another Fake Grand Order video, and it is time to talk about the 4-star Archer that I'm sure a ton of you are excited about. But not to worry, she is going to be added to the general pool. So if you end up missing her during her rate up banner, she still has a chance to randomly show up in the future. We are talking about Queen Zenobia today. We're going to be going over Zenobia's best allies, craft essences, and command codes so you can make her yet another arts farming character for your team. Hopefully this video ends up helping you out, and if it does, be sure to go ahead, like, and subscribe because that really does help me out. Zenobia comes equipped with 2 quick, 2 arts, and 1 buster card with an AoE Arts Noble Phantasm. When it comes to all of Zenobia's stats, there really isn't anything crazy to write home about here. Her 0.47 NP per hit is a pretty nice bonus considering her arts cards all hit 4 times each, and she's got the Arts Noble Phantasm as well, so she does get a pretty solid chance to recharge off of those arts cards. Also incredibly notable is the fact that she is an archer. Because archers have such a naturally high star weight, Zenobia is going to be able to eat all those stars, hopefully funnel them to her arts cards with a little bit of help from us, and overall use that to recharge her Noble Phantasm and hit those loops yet again. Zenobia's first skill is Augusta Assumption rank B. This gives her 3 turns of the following buffs: 20 to 30% arts card effectiveness, 10 to 20% Noble Phantasm gauge each turn, and 5 to 10 critical stars every single turn for those 3 turns to boot. You'll notice with Zenobia that one thing she definitely doesn't have a problem with is gaining some critical stars, which ends up pushing her a little bit beyond the realm of a mere farmer. Because of the arts bonus as well as the star region, we are definitely going to go ahead and max this skill first. I know some players out there would have possibly preferred a standard NP charge steroid that happens instantly, but I'm honestly fine with the NP region bonus that Zenobia gets. When it comes to arts farming, if you've got your Castorias leveled up by now and you are ready to go with those CEs and that overkill damage, well, odds are that extra 10 to 20% every single turn is just what you need in order to have Zenobia hit that next Noble Phantasm. Zenobia's second skill is Aurelianus' Siege Resist rank A. This gives her 1 turn of guts that lasts for 3 turns. 1 time of guts. This also increases her star gather rate by 300 to 500% and lets her gain 10 to 20 critical stars instantly. See what I was saying about critical stars? That's pretty dang great. We are going to go ahead and max this skill second, mainly so we can go ahead and up those stars and push her star absorption up just a little bit more, because we want to make sure she has enough stars to get some refund off of her arts cards, especially if you're bringing your Zenobia to fight bosses as well. And Zenobia's final skill is Glory to Palmyra rank A skill I unfortunately don't consider that glorious just because it's a glorified charisma. It raises Zenobia's attack by 10 to 20% for 3 turns in addition to the attack of all of our allies, and it also grants everyone 20 to 30 turns of critical rate resist for 3 turns. Now this is an interesting choice, but more often than not I haven't really seen critical rate resist do that much to save people. Yes, it does end up popping in a way where you don't necessarily notice it because your ally ended up living, but overall it is entirely more consistent to use things like command codes or buff removal to strip your enemies of their entire critical rate up in the first place. I kinda really wish something else had been attached to this skill for Zenobia. Needless to say, with how much I've universally panned this skill, we're gonna go ahead and max this last. However, not all is lost for Zenobia because all of her Append skills are good. This unfortunately means you need more copies of her, but all of her Append skills are good. Since Zenobia has the ability to go ahead and get a bunch of crit stars and isn't too shabby when it comes to fighting bosses either, extra attack boost can be great to pull out some additional damage. You've heard me say it before and I'll say it again, load magical energy is great on every character in the game. Zenobia remains no exception, especially especially considering she doesn't have some sort of instant Noble Phantasm steroid. This gives her a little bit more craft essence flexibility. And her damage boost is actually something that's really useful to her class. Anti-Berserker attack up allows her to deal extra damage to Berserker class enemies, something she was already dealing extra damage to. So if you need someone to destroy some waves of Berserkers or even a single focused Berserker boss, Zenobia actually has you covered. And how is she going to destroy all of those Berserkers? Why, with her Noble Phantasm, of course.
証明開始。戦場にたける女王を見た者。我らの無双は我が枷を砕く。この幕からの解放をもって、私も私を否定する。オーセンティックトライアンフ。真なる凱旋の主を迎えよ。
And that was Zenobia's Phantasm Authentic Triumph Rank A+. Just looks absolutely gorgeous. This increases Zenobia's own attack by 10% and activates before damage is dealt. This is the one thing I really consider lackluster on this Noble Phantasm. Why couldn't it have been a Noble Phantasm damage boost? That's usually what we want to see on these, right? This deals 450 to 750% damage to all enemies and is super effective against king enemies. The overcharge effect increases Zenobia's critical strength by 50 to 100% for 3 turns, and this is what ends up really helping her be effective against those boss type enemies. If you've got a Castoria support, a reliable way to charge up her Noble Phantasm repeatedly, or maybe you're fighting a boss surrounded by a bunch of minions, well, Zenobia is going to be able to stack some critical damage boosts and hit the enemy really hard with her face cards, probably leading to another Noble Phantasm. So this definitely goes without saying, but you're going to want to pair Zenobia with your Castorias. Not only does the attack boost as well as the arts card effectiveness boost really help Zenobia when it comes to dealing her overall damage, but you may have also noticed that her only way to defend herself is a Guts. She doesn't have an evade, she doesn't have an invincibility. So Castoria's Noble Phantasm is actually going to go a long way towards protecting your Zenobia. You are definitely going to want that in order to keep her alive, especially if you're fighting bosses. But when it comes to using her for arts looping, it is your standard arts support fare. Just do as much damage as you can with those arts cards, hit those overkills, and loop and loop and loop till you can't loop anymore. So let's talk craft essences for looping. Of course, there it is, the Black Grail. Still the absolute best bonus we can get for Noble Phantasm strength. It is just absolutely unbeatable. Once you go ahead and up your Zenobia with all of the little extra tricks from the multiple Castorias, from the Append skills, from the everything, throw a Black Grail on there and you will see her do overkill damage, allowing her to reliably loop. When you're fighting single bosses, however, I would like to recommend Holy Night Supper. This is a starting 50% NP gauge, some Noble Phantasm damage increase, but it also increases Zenobia's critical damage, and this is what is most critical when it comes to fighting bosses. Yep, with this character, you're going to have to end up swapping some stuff out now and again. For your freebie option, I definitely want to recommend Ocean Flyer, starting 50% NP gauge, a Noble Phantasm strength increase, and an arts card effectiveness boost as well, with all of its stats listed squarely in attack. This is what you're going to want for your Zenobia if the other two are not available options. And finally, command codes for Zenobia. Zenobia's got a high star weight and she is able to generate critical stars, also with a way to increase her critical strength off of her Noble Phantasm. This means critical damage command codes are the name of the game. Mini Kuchan is an excellent budget option, removing an enemy's critical attack chance up buff and increasing your own critical damage on that card. I definitely want to recommend Colonel Automaton as well, especially for your arts cards. Please only put your star absorption stuff on Zenobia's arts cards. You're going to want that for the refund to keep her own critical damage buffs up. Automaton increases star absorption by 50% and increases the critical damage of that card as well. Truly magnificent when it comes to an arts card boost. When it comes to your Buster card, let's sink more critical damage on there, but not critical star absorption. I know I'm repeating myself, but I really want to stress that. Blades of Neat and Doraku is an excellent pick, increasing increasing the Buster card damage by 20% on that card, but really any critical damage boost will do. I also want to mention Curse Spear that reverses causality. You can chuck this on either the Buster or the Arts card. This is another critical damage boost, but it also ignores evasion on top of that. And when it comes to those quick cards, what could be the best option? Why, of course, it is star generation. Zenobia already makes a lot of stars, but your skills are going to be on cooldown at some point, so let's find a way to generate stars with face cards as well. Code Glitter is the freebie option for this. Overall, gang, Zenobia is a very solid Arts Looper and a character I'm sure a lot of people are really going to love using, myself included. However, this doesn't mean that she is without her faults. Because of her lackluster third skill and complete lack of a noble Phantasm damage buff when it comes to looping, you are likely going to need to pull more copies of Zenobia to make her more consistent. 2 is usually the sweet spot when it comes to these characters, but Zenobia is going to require a little bit more investment to bring her up to the standard of some of FGO's most tried, treasured, beloved Arts Loopers in the game. She is just going to need more to be able to work based on her design. Hopefully she ends up getting something in the future that will end up buffing her, allowing her to really compete a lot more with these Arts Loopers without having to need so much more investment. So those of us who only pulled one copy of Zenobia, like myself, will be able to use her a lot more effectively. However, Zenobia can absolutely be an Arts Looper. She is an entirely serviceable Arts Looper, and even beyond that, if you just end up using her for boss fights because of that critical damage boost, she is a very reliable archer there as well. Overall, just a solid servant, even if she has some shortcomings and doesn't really bring a lot that's new to the table. But of course, I want to know what you all think, so let me know your thoughts on Zenobia down in the comment section below. Let me know if you think there are any allies, craft essences, or command codes I might have missed, and let me know who you are pairing your Zenobia with. Let me know if you summoned for Zenobia, or if there was a certain other foreigner that you were mainly trying to get as well. As you head down in the comment section, be sure to check out the Discord, the Patreon, and the Ko-fi. Huge thanks to absolutely everyone on those platforms for their support, and a big thanks to all of you on YouTube as well. It's because of your kind words and all of your support that I continue to make these videos, and I really do appreciate it. Anyways, gang, that's it for me, Kawaii50. I hope you all have a phenomenal day, and I will see you all in the next one.